What's up, guys? Welcome to the last stream of this year, and today we're gonna build the backend of our Airbnb clone, and we're gonna use AWS Amplify for our backend, as usually as we done before for other projects. So what exactly we're gonna build today? Let's have a look. So firstly, we will build the authentication flow for our application in order to be able to access the application only if you're a registered user. Probably Airbnb doesn't has this feature, but I think a lot of application has it. So first of all, you see a welcome screen, then you can log in, sign up, and after that you can see the content. So this is a good way to learn how to add authentication, and you'll see how easy it is to add these authentication flows. It's just 3 lines of code, but more on that later. After adding the authentication screens, we are gonna set up and create a GraphQL API for our data, because right now we are using dummy data, but in a real application you would like to have some database where you will store the data. You'll have an API, and from the client side you will just query this data. And for this purpose we're gonna use a GraphQL API, and we're gonna use AWS Amplify for creating and setting up this API. And again, you'll see how easy and how much work the Amplify does behind the scenes, because from one file that we will define like how our data should look like, Amplify will take and create the database, all the endpoints, DynamoDB database for each of our models, and a lot more. So you'll see how easy and cool that is. So this is the plan for today. If you didn't follow along previous builds, you can find them on my channel. There are 2 live streams before this one where we have built the application that we're gonna extend today, the Airbnb clone. I highly recommend following along those two if you want to implement the backend, because this way you will have like the full stack skills of creating an application from scratch, both on front end and on creating the backend. Or you can find the application on my Git repository. The link you will find in the description of the video. One more thing, you will also need some resources, some assets, and in this case I created some helpful functions to populate our database in order not to waste time and not to write. So you can find them on the URL. Let me open it here. assets.notjust.dev/Airbnb. So go on that link, download the bundle, and you will find there everything that we will need during this live stream. So everyone who is watching live, hello, hi everyone. Where are you joining today from? I see. Yeah, I see some new people. I see people that are here every week. Hello, Priyank. Hello, nickname. How are you doing, guys? Get some coffee, get some water, and in a couple of minutes we will get started. Yogesh, hello. Arthur, hello, I'm good, I'm very well. How are you doing? Yeah, of course, nickname. Just follow this stream, watch it, and if you have any question, let me know here or in our Discord channel. And after the live stream, you can start from the first stream and build it yourself. Oh, Zurich, China. Hello. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's why I decided to do it today and to finish 2020 with a live stream. Okay, guys. So, I think we can get started. Let's get comfortable. Sorry for that. Yeah, I think let's first of all have a look at the application as it is right now to remind ourselves. Hey, Priyank, thank you very much for the donation. Merry Christmas and thank you for everything. Thank you, Priyank, for supporting this channel. Yeah, you're supporting it every video, and I really appreciate that, and it really means a lot to me. Thank you very much. So let's have a look again at the application as it is right now. The application that we have built during the previous two videos. So here is the welcome screen. We can see the search button and also the bottom tab navigator. We can switch through pages, we can swipe through pages. However, yeah, we only implemented the welcome screen here, so that's why we see it. Yeah, that's why we see the welcome screen. If we go to the search, here we are able to search for a location, and the cool thing about this is that we implemented the autocomplete features from Google. So yeah, if we write something, Google suggests places with autocomplete. Here is some filtering for our search, and we can add why did I come on, yeah, here we can add like how many guests there will be and press search. Now we see a list of accommodations. This list of accommodations are coming from dummy data, and today we're gonna implement the backend to fetch them from our database. The cool thing about this is that our accommodations are displayed both in a list and also on a map. And yeah, I think this feature is pretty nice. We see the map and we can move through accommodation here, and we see all the accommodation in a carousel flat list down below. So if we just scroll through it, we see the map updated automatically, centered in the middle, and made that accommodation active on the screen, so we can see the location of it. So I think that's really powerful, and yeah, it works pretty well. And if we press on accommodation, we go to the details page, and here we see more information about that accommodation. So yeah, as I said, everything right now works with dummy data. So let's go ahead and start implementing the backend using AWS Amplify. And the first step will be to set up AWS Amplify project. And let's open this link for the documentation to find out more about how you can do that. The updated presentation is also available in the assets bundle that you can download on the link assets.notjust.dev/Airbnb. So yeah, here is the getting started guide for Amplify. Yeah, here we go. So let's have a look at prerequisites, what we need. You will have to follow along and install everything that you don't have, for example, Node.js, but I suppose that you already have Node.js installed. Then you will need to create an AWS account, and an AWS account is free to create. And however, you have to insert there your credit card details, and most of the services that we are gonna that you are gonna use like while learning, and all the services that we are gonna use in this video have a free tier, which means that you're not gonna be charged for them. But yeah, have a look at their pricing models and try to understand better like their pricing model, not to have any surprises. but I'm not charged for any of the projects that I already built during this live stream, which are I think like 5 or 6. So yeah. Then you will need to install and configure the AWS Amplify CLI. You can follow the guide here or in the video from Debit. All right. So after you go through all these steps, let's follow along together and set up our project with AWS Amplify. We don't need this first step because we already have a React Native application. So we're gonna open our terminal inside the folder of our application and run Amplify init. This will initialize the Amplify project. I have it here in the presentation as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll run Amplify init. And this command will ask us to fill in some details. So for the project name, I will leave it as default as they suggest me, Airbnb clone. Environment development, okay. You can choose here your default editor. There is no WebStorm there, so I'll choose none. We're gonna build a JavaScript application in React Native. Enter for the source directory distribution. Everything enter by default. Okay, now it asks us if we want to use an AWS profile. We say yes, and then we choose the profile that we set up in the previous step. So it's either the default, or if you gave it a name, it's gonna show up here. So I'm gonna choose this AWS profile for my account. And we will wait until AWS initializes our project. Okay, let's see here what's the next step. We initialize, okay. Then we will need to install the Amplify libraries. So yeah, I'm gonna copy them from here. Only the libraries, because I'm using Yarn. If you use npm, you can copy the whole command. And let's go back here. We see that Amplify initialized our project successfully, and it created an Amplify folder. We're gonna get into the details about that folder a bit later. It created the amplify.json, and also it created the export somewhere. Yeah, so now let's install the libraries from Amplify. I had to prefix it with yarn add. Come on. No. Okay. Yarn add, and then all these libraries that Amplify needs. And while it installs, let's have a look at the next steps. So for iOS, we will also install the pods, not to forget that. And just to configure the Amplify. Okay, now we should wait until the libraries are downloaded, and then we can install the pods for iOS. Okay, let's run npx pod install, and I saw that you don't need iOS here, just npx pod install. All right, and the last step from the documentation here is that we need to open the app.js or index.js and import this amplify configure, and to call the amplify.configure. So let's do that, and with that command, let's open app.js, not JSON, app.js or index. Yeah, it doesn't matter where, but we will go with index. And we are going to paste in the code here. So we're gonna import amplify config and run the amplify configure. So with that said, let's try to rerun the application on iOS because we installed new libraries and we need to rerun it. And let's see if everything still works. And if the setup was completed successfully, we'll move on with the next steps to implement authentication. So, yeah, hi from Algeria, hello. Are you gonna include sign up options? Yes, we're gonna include sign up options and also forget password options, confirming your account through email code and a lot more. But you're gonna see how easy it is. It feels almost like cheating because it's just a couple of lines of code and we're gonna have everything. Arthur is saying, thanks, I watched your Spotify clone tutorial and finally published my first app in Google Play. That's really awesome, Arthur. Oh my god. And yeah, send me the application. What is it about? Did you get your first downloads? Brink is asking, hopefully you will do deploying an application video soon, or maybe fingerprint sign in. Yeah, I think that in the next year I'm gonna focus more on different topics like how to deploy an application, because I want to cover the whole process of developing an application, starting from, I don't know, like taking the designs and finishing, going through like front end, then with back end, deploying, testing, and so on. So there is a lot of room for content and a lot of room for projects. If only I had more time. So we see that our application loaded and everything works as previously, which means that our Amplify setup worked properly. If you had any issue with these steps, let me know down in the comments or join the Discord channel. You can find the link in the description, and there you can ask me or any other one from our community that managed to do it successfully. So yeah, let's have a look what people are saying. Hey man, thanks for your wall. Thank you very much for joining and for appreciating. Priyank, hey Vadim, are you planning to do tutorial on how to do in-app payment like Google Play Pay or Amazon Pay in React Native? There is no tutorial on it at all. Oh really? There is nothing on YouTube? Yeah, this is also a very important topic in applications to handle payments. So I think that there will be something like that in future, because we are planning to introduce that in my startup. So I will do a deep research on that, and I will have content for payment methods. Arda is asking, any reason why you don't use TypeScript? No big reasons. I prefer TypeScript, but I'm trying to keep these builds more beginner friendly. And also one of the reason is because during live streams, I was spending too much time setting up types and making sure that everything is set up correctly, and I'm keeping track of all the types. And if I don't, like the application was working, but we were having like a lot of red lines underneath. So only for that, I decided like let's keep it simple and focus on JavaScript. But we had, I think, 2 or 3 projects in Expo with TypeScript, so you can check them out. I really love TypeScript. Okay, guys, so setting up Amplify was done. The next step is authentication. So to add any service with Amplify, because Amplify is not like a new service in AWS. Amplify just combines all the services that already exist on AWS. So in order to add such a service using Amplify, we're gonna call Amplify add, and the name of the service. In this situation, we will add authentication. So let's run Amplify, add authentication. I had to, before that, I'm gonna add everything. Git add, git commit, Amplify init. And now let's, yeah, add authentication. Okay, it asks us what configuration we want for our authentication. So there is a default configuration, and there you sign up with login, email, and password, and so on. Default configuration with social providers, and social providers are things like sign in with Google or with Facebook, with Apple, and so on. And for this, you need an application or a developer application on either providers. So it's very easy to set up. You can find more information on their website, but I'm gonna go with the default configuration to keep it simple. So how do you want users to be able to sign in? Yeah, let's go with username, and I'm done. Okay, we created the configuration for our authentication. The next step we have to do is to run Amplify push, and this will create all the services in the cloud on AWS. So it will take like a minute or so. We say yes. And yeah, updating resources in the cloud. This may take a few minutes. Yeah, while this is updating, let's have a look at the guide here, so you can follow this in more details if you have any issues. So the first thing is Amplify add auth. We did that. Then we do Amplify push. And after that, we will need to install the dependencies, libraries. So is there any new yeah, there are some new dependencies here. So I'm gonna again copy them all. Let me check if there is any new dependencies there. Do we have here yeah, I think that it's they're the same. Let me try to find that command, because I think we don't need to install it again. No, yeah, there is Amplify React Native. I think this one we were missing. So yeah, while we wait for the updates in the cloud, I opened a new terminal and I'm gonna install the dependencies. Yarn. Come on, Vadim. Add. Then we'll install the pods. And yeah. Let's check. Saved 4 new dependencies. Okay. So npx pod install to install all of the pods for iOS. So guys, for everyone who is just joining, we are building the backend for our Airbnb clone. So in the previous 2 videos, we have created the UI of our Airbnb clone, which you can see here. And right now we are creating the backend in AWS using AWS Amplify in order to create the authentication flows, to manage users, to set up and create a GraphQL API, the database in DynamoDB, and so on. So that's what we are doing today. Right now I am implementing the authentication. So yeah, let's all resources are updated in the cloud, and also pod install complete. The next step is to open our app.js, import app.js, and here let's import from AWS Amplify. We will import a function with not sure if it's from there. AWS Amplify React Native. Okay. AWS Amplify React Native. We are going to import with authenticator, something like that, right? Did I misspell it? With authenticator. And this method, we're gonna wrap our application inside that method. So we're gonna say with authenticator application. We save and we run it again on our device. Being it iOS or Android, it should work on both of them. So if you're working on Android, run yarn Android and it will open. So guys, here we see it. With 2 lines of code importing the authenticator and wrapping our application inside this function, we have set up authentication, and now whenever we open the application, we see the login screen. So right now we don't have an account yet, but we can press on the sign up, and here we will create a new account. So for the username, let's say Vadim 123 email, okay, and phone number, something random. Let's sign up. And yeah, I relaunched the application here, so my bad. Sign up. Let's try again. Or let me check if that was successful and if I receive an email. No, I think I didn't receive it. So let's create the sign up again with our credentials. Sign up. Password did not conform with policy, password not long enough. So yeah, that's also something good. We get some security by default. These things can be adjusted, so you can set some rules based on your need. And after that, we see the confirmation screen, and on our email we should receive a code. So I already received it on my email, and I'm gonna copy it and paste it here. And let's confirm. Now we need to sign in our account. So my username was Vadim and my password was 129. Let's sign in, and we are in our application. And the cool thing is that if I close the application and if I open it again, I will not have to log in again because it remembers that I already signed in. And that's how you add authentication. How easy is that, guys? Like, we set up all the libraries that we need, and then we just imported with authenticator, and we wrapped our application into that authenticator, and we have authentication flows such as login, sign up, forget password, email confirmation, password, like security, and so on. Like, that's really crazy when you think about this, because at my startup, I think that I spent, like, I don't know, I spent only 1 week setting up authentication with Apple, signing up with Apple, and but here, like, everything is so much easier and everything is done. And the cool thing about this is, if you might think that You need your custom design, and this is not something that will suit your needs. The cool thing is that with Amplify, you can adjust these screens and create your custom login and sign up screens, and then just call some methods from AWS Amplify React Native. For example, I don't remember exactly the method, but yeah, sign in and sign out. And then you just call these methods, and that's it. So you have the ability to adjust and the flexibility to implement your own design, and also have this ease to set up a basic authentication flow in just a couple of minutes if you're working on a prototype, or I don't know, yeah, an MVP. So yeah, one more thing. Let's add the ability to sign out. So we will see again those screens, and we will be able to test out. Yeah, this thing I didn't do it in any projects, but if it's quite easy. So let's do it right now. So in the screens, I'm gonna just create a new screens for our profile, and there I will put the logout button. Or should I put it just here? Now let's keep it there. So let's create a directory, profile. Let's add a file, index.js. Okay, profile screen. And in navigation, in home tab navigation, let's import this profile screen. And let's find our profile tab here. Scroll down, it should be the last one here. And for the component, instead of home screen, we will send the profile screen. Let's save profile screen here. It's there, we just don't see it. So I'm gonna just add the logout button here. So let's add the pressable. Come on. The pressable we will import from React Native, but we will also need a text. So inside we'll have a text log out. So let's give it some styles with I'm gonna style it like just pretty roughly in order just to see it on our screen. Some background color. Something like this. And for our view, I'm gonna display flex, justify content center, and align items also center. Save. What's going on? Attributes must only be assigned a non-empty expression. Where did I mess up something here? It must be somewhere in here. So yeah, I think it's the on press. Save. Height 100%. Yeah, we see the logout button here. Not the best looking one, but we have it. I just want to show you how you can log out from the application. So let's check where do we import this logout function from. AWS Amplify. Hey, thank you very much, Sambulo, for the donation. That's really awesome. Yeah, Sambulo is saying, bro, amazing content, learning a lot from you. Thanks a lot for the support. It really means a lot to me. That's so awesome. Merry Christmas to you. Okay, so log out. I just need to check where we should import this function from. Yeah, it's from Amplify, from auth, right? If I'm not mistaken, yes. So yeah, let's import auth here, and on pressable we will define here, we will send here a on press logout, and we need to implement the function const logout is equal to an arrow function, and inside here we will say auth dot logout, right? No, non chiedi rob. So where is logout? Sign out. Oh, it's sign out. Yeah. Sign out. And yeah, let's press on this one, and we're back to our login screen. Here we can, if we open again the application, now we're gonna see the login screen because we have been logged out. And here we can go to the forget password, we'll write the username and we will receive an email. And yeah, we can go back to sign in, and here we can log back in. Okay, and the password, yeah, like this. Yeah, and we are back in. So that's how we can implement the logout functionality. I think it's pretty cool and pretty easy to do that with Amplify. That's why I really love it. So let's have a look at what people are saying. How are you doing, guys? Are you following along? Do you find this valuable? Okay. Please make a tutorial with Django as a backend. I don't know, probably not anytime soon. But maybe in future I will do something with Django. Actually, my first startup, I used Django to create it. But after that, I never touched Django, so... Someone is asking, AWS Amplify uses GraphQL too. With AWS Amplify, you can create an API, and you have a choice to create it as a GraphQL API or as a RESTful API. So yes, with AWS Amplify, you can create a GraphQL API, but you're not limited. So if you need a REST API, you can do that as well. AWS is an all-in-one package, but which is best for APIs? What do you mean which is best for APIs? Like from what options are you choosing or like considering? Arthur is asking, do you plan to customize the login screens? No, I don't plan to customize the login screens because this will take a lot of time. And it's so much easier just to stick with the custom ones. However, you can do so, and you will just call, for example, auth.sign in, and where you will send like all the information that it needs, like the login and so on. Yeah, like username, password, and any other data. So you can do that, and you can call like the auth and all the methods like sign in, also sign up. Also there is forget password, and yeah, all the logic is already implemented. You just implement the front end and call the functions there. Amir is asking why choose Expo. This project is not with Expo. This project is with React Native CLI. So I know that a lot of people were asking me to use CLI. But if you're asking about, this project, it's not Expo, it's CLI. If you're asking in general why Expo, Expo is a great way to get started with projects. So they have a lot of things already set up, and it's much easier just for the beginners. Yeah, I really like Expo, but there are some limitations, and you should know about them. For the APIs, which one is better? AWS, Firebase, Azure, the usual options. I'm pretty biased here, but I really like AWS. And when you think about this, AWS has the biggest market share. It has like much more than any other competitors, and they have like a lot of great services, and they're moving pretty fast with everything. Maybe Firebase is more beginner friendly, but in real life projects, I think AWS is much better. And we are using it at our startup, and it's pretty cost effective as well if you are using the right services, and it scales pretty well. And I love AWS. And also you have the possibility to go the traditional route with having a usual server, which you will manage and handle in a normal, like, I don't know, Express or Node.js API. Or you can go the route with setting up a AppSync API with some Lambda functions, which will get you the serverless architecture, and that way it will be much easier to scale up, and in general, better. All right, guys. So let's move forward. Let's commit everything that we did. Git commit -m amplify authentication. Okay, so we did the authentication. For everyone which is joining right now, we are building the backend infrastructure for our Airbnb clone. And the Airbnb clone, we have built the UI and all the layout during our previous 2 live streams. So you can see here like the welcome screen. You can search for some accommodations, and here we have like Google autocomplete features. We can set up some filters for our search. Then we see the search results in a list. Also, we see them on a map, which we can view it here in a map or down below in this carousel. And today we are implementing the backend to get all this data from our database. And this way we will have a full stack application, and you'll be able to build one yourself. So we finished with authentication. We will move on to our API. So the first step we should take, as I said, is to add this service, and we'll add it with amplify add API. So let's run this command here, amplify add API, and this will ask us a couple of questions. Yeah, here it asks us if we want a GraphQL or a REST API. So in our case, we will create a GraphQL API. The name, I will leave it as default. And here there are, you should choose the authorization types for the API. And there are a couple of them. For example, API key, where yeah, it sets up an API key which will expire, like you can set up how long it will expire, or you can set the authorization based on Cognito user pool, and Cognito is used for authentication. So this way, only authorized users that log in the application will be able to query the API. So for this project, let me think how we will go. We'll go with the easy route of API key. Yeah, let's go with API key. And we'll set that it should expire in 1 year. And yeah, I'm done. Do you have a GraphQL schema? Let's say no, because we don't have it yet. We will create it in a moment. And here there are 2 templates. In our case, we will choose a single object with fields, because we don't have a lot of relationships for our model in this application. Yeah, wait until it creates. Do you want to edit schema? Let's say no, because we will open it ourselves. So right now, Amplify created in this folder called Amplify. There is a backend and then API. And let's open the schema.graphql. So for our API, everything that we will do is mostly in this file. And here, using this schema definition, the GraphQL schema definition, we will create our whole API. Because just by setting everything up here, Amplify knows how to create all the resources needed. So for example, for every type which has a model, it will automatically create a DynamoDB table to store this information in a database. It creates all the connections between the API and that table, and so on. So we just need to define our API schema here, and everything is taken care for us. So let's create. In our case, we don't have it to do. We will have accommodations, but I think in our application we call them posts. So let's yeah, the type is not posts, the type is post, because it's one post. So let's think what this post will have. To help us, we will check our data feed.js, and here we will see what data we currently have. So let's take this one from here, and I'm gonna paste it here just to see them side by side. So we'll have an ID, that's good. We will have an image. Yeah, let's add it here. Image. The image will be of type string, and the image will be a required property. So if you add the exclamation mark in GraphQL, that means that it cannot be null. Image, then it will have a type, which is also a string. Then it will have a title, and also a description, again string. Yeah, let me just delete this. Okay, next one, bed. It will have the number of beds, which will be an integer. Bedroom. The bedroom will be also an integer. Old price. Old price, let's set it as float, because you can have, like, I don't know, like 25.5 or something like that. New price. Actually, old price is not required, because there might be no old price, only like new price, or it actually should be called something else, like actual price or current price or just price. Okay, new price. Then the total price is not something that lives in the in our database. So I think that total price we will calculate based on the number of nights that you want to stay there or something like that. So after that we'll have latitude and longitude. And these two fields will also be float. Float. And float. Okay, let's think if we have everything. We have an image, type, title, description. Okay. Bedrooms. We'll also need to store something that we are not currently displaying anywhere, but we will need it for filtering purposes. And that will be a maximum number of guests. Because whenever we said that we want to travel with, I don't know, like 5 guests, we want to receive only properties that has the capacity of 5 or more to accommodate everyone. So it's going to be also an integer, maximum guests. Old price, new price, latitude and longitude. Yeah, I think we have everything. So we can remove this dummy data from here. And this is our schema where we will have only one model. There is no relationship, like we only handle like posts or accommodations. So after creating the schema, after writing the schema, we will go ahead and write amplify push. Amplify push will create all the necessary resources in the cloud. And that will be like DynamoDB database and AppSync API and so on. Yeah, we want to continue. Yes, we want to generate code, JavaScript, enter. Yeah, leave it the default values there. All right. Yeah, we'll wait a couple of minutes until it creates everything. Yeah, the first step was to write the GraphQL schema. We did that. Next step, yeah, will be to... We'll get there. So, how are you doing, guys? Is this clear? Is there any questions so far or any unclear parts? So, yeah, we should wait a couple of minutes until it creates all the resources. Come on. Update complete. Let's see. Come on. Okay, so yeah, the update completed. Here we can see our GraphQL API key, which it generated automatically. And in order to see our resources in cloud, to be sure that everything is set up correctly, we can write amplify console and the service of the console that we want to open. So in this case, we want to open our API in the cloud. We're gonna choose GraphQL, and this opened a window here. So yeah, this is the console of our API, and at the top here we can see the schema. And this schema, if you remember that a couple of minutes ago we defined the schema for our post, and we define like how should a post look like what data should it contain and which type that data should be. And we wrote 18 lines of code. If we look in our console, here we can see the schema that it eventually created and generated for us. And we can see 200 lines of code. And this is for all the inputs, all the queries, all the mutations, like to delete a post, to query a post, to update a post, all the filters of like contains, greater, lower, and so on. So you don't have to get into a lot of details here because we are gonna go step by step. But yeah, this is where you will see the final schema. And yeah, here are the queries to get a post, to list post, and so on. So let's go in our queries. Yeah, we select queries here, and here is the page where we can run and test our API to see the data, what it contains. And yeah, this is like a postman for a REST API that you are using to test and visualize your API. So here we can, for example, select a get post, not get post. Let's select a list post. And for the items, we're gonna query the number of bedrooms, ID, and description. And let's run this. And we see that currently we don't have any posts, any data. So now, yeah, the queries is things that we want to receive. If we want to update something or to create something new, we need to run mutations. It's similar to a post request for a REST API. So if we add a mutation, here we see 3 mutations: create post, delete post, and update post. We can go ahead and create a post here. And for the input, we'll set all the necessary information here on the left. Or easier, you can write them here as text. So if you know exactly like what variables you need, you can write them here. The good news is that you don't have to write any of this because I already prepared this data. So if you downloaded the dummy data from assets.notjust.dev/Airbnb, then let me find it. You'll find all this operation that will populate our database with some data, so we don't have to write them manually. YouTube, where is it? Come on, Airbnb assets, and yeah, GraphQL operations. So here is the folder with GraphQL assets, and here you can see a file called GraphQL operations. So open that up in a text editor and copy everything that it contains. After that, we will paste everything here in our console. And yeah, this contains a couple of mutations to create some accommodations. For example, let's see, mutation create accommodation 1, and we will call the create post mutation with the next input. It will have an image, a type, a title, description, and all the information that it needs. You can go ahead and adjust them if you want to give it different titles, different image URLs, and so on. So that's the same for example, accommodation 2, accommodation 3, 4, and so on. Yeah, after we pasted that in, let's try to, and let's hope that it will work. And let's run the create accommodation 1. We see the ID of the first accommodation, which means that our mutation ran successfully. Let's run creating accommodation 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now there is this query show all properties, which calls the list posts query. and it queries the ID, title, and description of each property. So if we run show all properties, now we can see a list with all the properties that we just created, with their ID, with their titles, descriptions, and so on. And the cool thing about GraphQL is is the consumer who decides what data it needs. So in this situation, I said that I only need ID, title, and description, and that's what it gave. If I also, for example, want the new price and the number of beds, I can easily do that. I just add the fields here, and if I run show all properties, I see the new price and number of beds for every property. So yeah, that's the cool part about GraphQL, is that we have the flexibility to define what data we need to query. Okay, so let's implement in our application the show all properties query, and to display them in our list from our database. So yeah, the next step is to retrieve all accommodations. All right. All right. So yeah, let's close everything and open our where is it? Screens. Search results. Yeah, search results. Let's open the index file. And here we have this flat list with our feed. And if I open the application, I'm speaking about this screen, the list of properties. Right now it takes this feed from our dummy data file, but we need to query the data from the API and display them here dynamically. So let's import a couple of methods here that we will need. So let's import API and GraphQL operation from AWS Amplify. Okay, the next thing that we need to import is something from our source GraphQL folder, and this folder was automatically generated by Amplify when we ran Amplify push. So if we open here, we see 4 files: mutation, query, schema, and subscriptions. So for example, if we open queries, this is predefined queries that we can use. So yeah, we have the ability and we have the option to write these queries ourselves and to specify exactly what data we need. But they provide it in these files to easily import and use them as they are. So I'm gonna import the list posts query from this file, and we're gonna use that. So let's learn how to type on a keyword without looking at it. So let's import from GraphQL, no more. GraphQL queries, and we will import list posts. Okay, from React we will need a use effect and a use state. More about them shortly. So we need to do a request to our API, and we need to do that whenever this component mounts. So the first time it mounts, we need to fetch the data from the API, and to do that we're gonna use a use effect, because that's how we can do some logic when the component mounts. So I'm gonna define the method here, fetch posts, is equal to async, because we will have some asynchronous calls to our data API, to our backend. And after that, I'm gonna call it right away. So yeah, here all the magic should happen. I will put everything into a try catch, because we will, whenever we do some network calls, there might be some errors. For example, the user might not have internet, or something might fail. So that's why it's advisable to put the network calls into a try catch block. So here, let's actually fetch our posts. So const posts result will be equal to await api.graphql, and here we will send a GraphQL operation. And which operation? The list posts operation. And we don't need any variables. We can go ahead and do a console log posts results to see what we receive from our API. Let's open the debugger, which is here. And yeah, here we can see the object. The object contains a field data. The data contains list posts. List post contains items. And here we can see 5 items with all the information about them. Yeah, that's what exactly we need. And we need to somehow store this information in our component. So for that, we're gonna use a state to save our posts. Set posts is equal to use state. Initially, it will be an empty array. So whenever we receive this information, we're gonna call set posts post results dot data dot list posts dot items. It's a long yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. And in our flat list, instead of sending the feed, we can send the posts from our state, which will come from our backend. Now we can delete this import feed for the dummy data. We can save, and we can check our screen. Save. Yeah, I think this comes from yeah, exactly. This information comes from our backend, and yeah, if I add something new there, we will be able to see it right away here. So if I change the title here to a there, and I run accommodation 1, it created. And if I reopen the application, I should see the new post with the title hey there. So let's search. Entire flat. Okay, where are you? Hey there. Here it is. So now we know that all the information comes from our backend, and is the information that we created in our database here. I'm not sure why this image doesn't load. I think it just takes more time to download it, or I think I mistyped the URL. But yeah, that's cool. What do we need to change? I think we need to change displaying the total price, because in our dummy data we had a total price, but here we don't have a total price, and we need to calculate it. So in the components post index for the total price, I'm gonna do the new price multiply by, I don't know, number of days, and right now we don't have any day picker, so I'm gonna say days equal to 7. It's just a hard-coded thing, so we can see that total price now updates and it shows the total price for 7 days. Yeah, what else? Yeah, the same thing we should do with the map in order to, because our map is a different screen and it displays different information. So let's go ahead and in our screens, search results map index, we will do the same thing here. Oh, my light turned off. I touched it with. Come on, Stevie. I hope I will not get. Stay there. So in our search results map, we should do the same thing. But we have a lot of information here. Where is the feed? Do we have places? Okay, so we will. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna close this one. And we need to import the same API, GraphQL, and list posts in the map here. And we need to this use effect to copy in here. And also the use state. We'll place it here. So instead of places, we should access posts. So let's find where we use places and replace it with posts. 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 And posts. And now here we can delete the places because we replace it with post. Let's save. Something is not working, of course. Unexpected token indentation index where export. What did I do? Oh, I think I didn't close this one. This use effect. Save. Cannot read property latitude of undefined. Okay. Yeah, the thing is that in our assets, in our dummy data, our latitude lives inside coordinates. But in our data, the latitude is in the root of the post. So that's why it says that cannot read. So I'm gonna find the coordinate here and I'm just gonna delete it. So it should be selected place dot latitude, selected place dot longitude, and where else? It should be somewhere else as well. Coordinate. Here is interesting. For the coordinate, I'm gonna have to create an object with latitude place dot latitude and longitude place dot longitude. Yeah. Well, where else we have? Yeah, I think that's it. Save. Let's try to search again. Tenerife. Search and let's view the map. Okay, yeah, the map works and these are the places that I created. So here I have 4 places in Tenerife and 1 in USA. So if I will find that one from USA, we will be able to see the map like jump there. Yeah, this is the garage of Steve Jobs. So yeah, the map jumps correctly. If we go back, we are back to Tenerife. Yeah, it works. I don't know why is it moving. Oh, chill. Cannot re-property image of undefined. But if I reload, will you be able? Image of undefined. Okay. All right, so yeah, we fetched the information both for our list and for our map from our API. Then we will move to the next step. Let's commit everything that we have so far. Git add. No, come on, git add, git commit, API fetching. All right, so how are you doing, guys? Let's have a look. Someone is asking, why aren't you using Firebase? Mostly it's a personal preference to use AWS, but there are a lot of advantages of using AWS Amplify and AWS in general. So yeah, that's why. Let's say that it's my personal preference. This is 11-year coder. Okay. Hello, guys. YouTuber, hello. Yeah, you can find the code on GitHub. The link should be in the description down below. Amir is asking, will GraphQL reduce read and write request? Yes, of course. Yeah, GraphQL will aggregate all the requests that you have and send them as one request. And that's another advantage of GraphQL. So for example, if you need information about posts, about users, and about the comments, in REST API you would do, I don't know, 3 or 4 requests just for receiving all this information about a post. For example, the post, the author of that post, and the comments. In GraphQL, you can do that with only one request, because you define this schema and you define like what information you need. So you need, for example, a post, the author of that post, the comments, and you do that everything in one request, which is really great. So guys, for everyone who is joining right now, because I see some new people here, today we are implementing the backend for the Airbnb clone, and we have implemented all the UI and layout in React Native during previous 2 videos. You can find them on my channel. I highly recommend you follow them and then start implementing this backend, or you can get the code on my GitHub and do only the backend if you're interested in that, if you're interested in learning AWS Amplify. We are using AWS Amplify for the backend, and we are integrating authentication, which is already done. And yeah, with 3 lines of code, we have all this authentication flow for signing in, for signing up, receiving emails, confirming accounts, forget password, which also sends you a code on your email, and so on. So let me just sign back in, and everything from here was done pretty easily thanks to AWS Amplify. So let's sign back in. Yeah, here we are on our welcome page. Now we are implementing the backend, and we already are already displaying this information about posts from our backend database, which is also created using AWS Amplify as a GraphQL API. So yeah, here we can see everything from our database. We can also see them on the map. And the next steps will be to learn how to filter information to receive only information that we need, because right now we return all the posts or all the accommodations from our database, which is not something that we want. Because, for example, we said here that we only want properties in Tenerife, and we will be, I don't know, a crazy team of 8 people. So if we search, we should not see this two-bedroom apartment and so on. So, or even more like the Steve Jobs garage from Silicon Valley, because we said Tenerife. So that's what we are gonna do next. Let's drink some water. Water with coffee. So good. Okay. Akram is saying, hi, I learned a lot from your tutorials. Thanks, man. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate that you find the tutorials valuable. Okay, so as I said, let's move on and with basic filtering of posts. So let's first of all visualize and see how we can do filtering in our queries, and then we will implement them in our application. So let's focus on this show all properties query, and we can find it here as well. If we scroll down, mutation query where is it? Show all properties. So there is a field here, filter, and if we open this, I don't like it. I will better write them. You can work with the editor from the left side, but I'm gonna write them. So this list posts can receive parameters, and one of that parameter is the filter parameter. So there are a lot of filters that we can apply, and the first one is, for example, we want to filter based on number of guests. So max guests, let's say that we need only like max guest 4. And if we run it right now, show all properties, validation error with value. Okay, it's not 4. We should give it an object, and there is equal to 4. This is a bit weird, but yeah, that's how we do it here. Show all properties. And now we see only one item, which has a max number of guests of 4. Let's query it as well to be able to see them. Show properties. Yeah, max guest 4. So if you want to see all the filters that you can apply, I suggest you open the schema here. And in schema, there is somewhere here we should find the filters. Where is it? Query, list post, model, post, filter, input, and let's find this one. And it's, yeah, here is all the filters. So basically we can filter based on ID, we can filter based on image, type, title, and so on. And yeah, all the filters, you can see them here. It's kind of confusing if that's your first time working with a GraphQL. But yeah, you can find more information about that on AWS Amplify website. So let's go back here, and why do we see this one? Okay, my lights. Okay, the thing is that we don't want to filter based on equality sign, I mean on condition. We want to filter all posts that the maximum number of guests is greater than a number. So to do that, we can write the operation greater GT is greater than, and GE is greater than or equal. So we will say for. If we run it, we should see all the properties that have a maximum number of guests greater or equal to 4. So this one is 4, that's good. Next one is 12, and this one is 6. If we write here, I don't know, 10, we will see only 1 because we have only one property with 12 guests. So yeah, this is the filter that we will start implementing in the application. So from our application, we will send a value here based on the number of guests that we input in the screen in this screen. So we will take this number and we will send it as a filter there in order to see only properties which can accommodate all the guests that we are searching for. And the first thing is that we need to send the information from our, where is it, screens, guests. So from this screen where we have the number of adults, the children and infants, we need to send it to the next screen, to the search results page as a variable. So we have it somewhere. Where do we do the navigation? Here. We navigate to the search results. And we should assign some parameters here to send additional information. So screen params. And as a parameter, we will say guests will be the number of adults plus the number of children. We'll count only them. So let's save. And then in our search results, I already see a problem. Let's try. So here we will need to get that that value, the number of guests, in our search results. So let's take it from the route. Import. Vadim cannot type. Import. Use route from then React Navigation Native. So const route equal to use route, and also let's console log the route dot params to see what parameters we get here. Let's save, and let's open our debugger to see the parameters. Undefined, right? Let's go again through these steps. Yeah, this is something else, and here let's add 2 adults and 1 child. Undefined, undefined. Okay, the problem is that we are redirecting here to home, explore, search results. And if we look in the navigation, home, the explorer is here, and search, yeah, search results, where is it? Yeah, here is the Explore, and the Explore Navigator contains this Explore Navigator, and we are redirecting here to the search results. But the problem is that the search results is another navigator, so it contains two tabs, the list and the map. And we receive that options, that parameters in this tab navigator, but it doesn't automatically send it to the below screen list or map. Because if we were to, where is it, guests, to redirect directly to the list page, and that will mean that we will add params screen called list, I think. List like this. And here another params. I'm just gonna test if this will work. Say but this is not the end solution. So let's try to go again here. And let's check the debugger. Yeah, now we see parameters guests 4. So if I redirect directly to the list, we see. However, we will not be able to get this information in our map because we redirected to the list with that parameters. Okay, so let's think how to send. Let's go back because that's not. No. Yeah. To the search results, and from the search tab navigator, here we should take the option of the number of guests and send them down below here. Okay, that's interesting. Option. Let's find React navigation nested params. Okay, it should be somewhere here. Because in previous version of this library, these parameters were actually sent to the children. So, but yeah, right now they changed it. Should see where they nesting multiple navigators. Where passing parameters to routes. Something like this. So yeah, we will stack navigator component. It's a tricky thing. Yeah, we know how to send them directly to the screen, but if I get the route here, const route equal use route, and import route from native, and if I console log the route here, will I see the number of guests? Yeah, I think we will see, and then we will be able to send it down to the children. So Tenerife. Okay, that's not what we need. It's the next send. Yeah, parameters and guests 5. Okay, so yeah, in this route we receive it, the number of guests. So we will do it in the next way. We'll take it from the route parameters, const guests equal to route dot params dot, how was that, guests. Yeah, so we can actually destructure it. We'll take them from this route and we'll send down to the search results as a property. And to send it as a props, we cannot send it directly here, and we will move the component from here. We'll expand the tab screen, and we'll send the component as a normal React component to the children of our screen. So that was search results, search and we'll send guests equal to guests, something like this. And for the map as well, we're gonna expand this and we're gonna send the guests there as well. So let's save. In the search result, we don't need the route. We will just console log the props, because we should receive it through props. Save. Say my name, say my name. Get an inval children prop for the list. Must be a function returning a React element. Must be a function returning a React element. Okay, okay. For tab navigator, the children should be a function. We can, yeah, we shouldn't send them directly, but it's a function which will return our search result. So make sure that, yeah, you follow along these brackets. Save. Now let's try to do that. Should be 8. Search. We see the list. Let's see if we receive them through props. Yeah, we receive guests 8. That's in the screen, and here is through the props. Okay, that's great news, because we can use this in the search results index. We can destructure the number of guests. Const guests from props. And we can take this we can take these guests and send them to our list post operation. So if we add here a comma, now we can add the variables that we need. So the same way as we added additional variables inside this query, the same way we need to do them there. So we need to add a filter with a max guests greater than or equal and a number. So we will add filter max guests greater or equal than guests. Let's save and let's open our application here. Yep, we see that with 8 or more, we see only one property. And if we go back and search again, and now we will say that we only one adult, then we'll see all of them, because all of them has a maximum number of guests more than or equal than 1. And if we set very high number here, we will not see anything. That's how we do filtering. And let's do the same thing in our maps, because right now only our list uses filters. Yeah, only our list, and the map doesn't use it. So let's open our search results. Or to do something better. No, okay. Index here. Search result. So I will copy the GraphQL operation from the search result and paste it in search result map. GraphQL operation. And we just need to destructure the guests from props. I'll add it on the top of a component. Save. And if I select here, we see only two properties, and on the map as well, only two properties. Yep, filtering works both in the list and in the map. So yeah, that's how we add filters to GraphQL queries, how we use them, and how we send like dynamic data to those filters to be able to receive all information that we need. Filter. So guys, how are you doing? Are you still here following along? How do you find this? Am I going too fast, too slow, too boring? Let's drink some coffee with water, which has a very bad color. So guys, for everyone who is joining right now, we are building the backend for our Airbnb clone that we have built in React Native in the previous two videos. And today we're gonna build the backend in using AWS Amplify. So we're already implementing the authentication with login screen, sign up screen for get password, and so on. Right now we are working on the API. We already set up the API. We are fetching the data from the API, and we implemented some basic filtering for the API in order to receive only the places and only the accommodation that can fit the number of guests that are traveling. The next step will be a bit more advanced filtering. It's mostly the same, but we will add filtering based on location. So if we are searching for a specific city, we want to find to fetch accommodation only from that city or from that location. So that's how we are gonna that's what we are gonna do next. Madan is asking, is this tutorial for those who don't know about GraphQL? What to say? So basically, you will be able to follow along and to do what I'm doing, because I'm showing you every step. And yeah, the GraphQL here is not very complicated, and you will understand like what you're doing and what the hell is happening. But if you want to know more details about how GraphQL works behind the scene, or how to use it in other projects, maybe you will need to follow along some GraphQL tutorials. Yep. Darsh, new hoodie. Yeah, new hoodie. It's here. Can you see it? I really like the quality and of this hoodie. I've got also a branded t-shirt. Hello from Sudan. Hello from Moldova. All right. Greetings from Turkey. Hello. I see a lot of people from there today. Priyanka saying I follow your tutorials. It gave me a AWS Amplify error. I don't know how to resolve it. Can you send in the Discord channel more details about the error, some screenshots, some code, and I will try to help you there. All right. So guys, let's continue and with the next step, because we retrieved all the accommodation. We implemented simple filtering based on only one value, and that was the number of guests. Now we want to filter accommodation based on location. So whenever we search for a city, we should fetch only accommodation from that city. So how the hell we will implement that? That's a great question. So the first thing that I want to show you is what data we receive from the search bar here, to understand like what data do we have to work with. So for example, if I search for for a city, and if I press on this, I already console log there the information, so I can see it in React Native Debugger. This is the information that we are receiving from Google Autocomplete. And the thing that I need is in geometry. And in the geometry, it gave me the location, the latitude and longitude of that place. This is the center of the city. But we are not interested in that. We are interested in the whole city, because one city might be, I don't know, 1 kilometer wide. Another city might be like, I don't know, like hundreds of kilometers wide. So in that situation, like we need to know like what is the area of that city in order to fetch only properties in that area. And then we see another property besides location, and this is viewport. And a viewport has 2 points, northeast and southwest. So basically, it defines a square. So if a city is a square, it puts the city in a square, and then it has 2 points, northeast, which is north, and I think this is east. So it defines this point, and also it defines southwest, this point. So based on 2 points, we can determine like the square, like of that city, like the area of that city. So yeah, we have this point and we have this point. So based on this information that we have, that we receive from Google Autocomplete, we will be able to fetch and filter only properties that live within this circle, this square. So for example, if there is a property here, one here, one here, and one here, we will return only these 2 properties. And how we will do that? We have a latitude and longitude of each property. So each one has like a latitude and a longitude. And we will compare the latitude to be between the latitude of this point and the latitude of this point. And then we'll do another check for the longitude to make sure that they are between the longitude of these 2 points. So then we will draw these 2 lines for the longitude, and that's how we will discard this point, we'll discard this point, and we will return only these 2 places. So let's go to our console and have a look how we can do that. I already implemented something similar in in here, in your dummy data, you will see if you scroll down, and it's called show properties based on location. So for our filter, we define the filters for the latitude and longitude, and we put these both filters in an AND operator, because we want properties that are between this latitude and this longitude. So for the latitude, we use the operator between, and the same way for the longitude. So here is the boundaries of, for example, Tenerife. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. So if I show properties based on location, I will see everything inside these boundaries. And for example, if I change them, I don't know, to something else, from 100 to 200, let's run based on location, we'll see there are no items there. So yeah, using these filters with latitude and longitude and the between operator, we will be able to fetch. So for example, here we see only these properties. Yeah. All right. So let's go on and implement these filters inside our application. So again, first of all, we need to send the viewport information from this screen to the guest screen, and from guest screen to our search results screen, in order to be able to filter them based on this information. So in our screens, search result, no, destination search index. Here is our Google Places autocomplete, and here is our navigate call that will navigate to another screen. So we need to send here some data, and the data will be viewport, which will take from details dot geometry dot viewport. So we'll take this one and we'll send to the guest page, and inside guest page, where is it? Guest index. We will take this information, these parameters from our route, and we're gonna pass it down to the next screen. Use route const route, use route, and where do we navigate? Here at the bottom. Now we send only the guest parameters, and we can send also the viewport that we are taking from route.params.viewport. So right now let's save. Let's open our navigation search result tab navigator, and the same way as we took the guest from parameters, we will take the viewport, and we're gonna send it to our screens. View equal to viewport. Let's close everything and check if in our search results page, if we receive this viewport in the props. Console log viewport. And here we go. Okay, let's open the debugger. Clear everything. Okay, the next, I'll clear everything. And right now, we see the viewport of northeast and southwest. So we see these 2 points based on which we have to define our condition in the request. So that means that we receive information, and in our filter, we will, inside the filter, we will add the AND operator, because we will have multiple filters and all of them should be combined using the AND operator. So the first one will be the max guests. The next one will be, let's take it from here, will be latitude and longitude with operator between. Nope, we need to add them inside the right. Why are you running? No, latitude, correct, between. I'll delete these comments here, comma, longitude, between, and deleting these comments. Jonathan, real quick, we are implementing the backend for our Airbnb clone, and we are using AWS Amplify to do so. So right now we are creating the backend API, and we are implementing the filters in order to receive only properties based on a specific location that we take using Google autocomplete features. And yeah, based on that, we will be able to filter. So that's what we are doing. Yeah, so we need to send here the correct values for the latitude and the longitude. And we will take them from the viewport. Viewport, where is it? Viewport here. Southwest, northeast. Latitude, longitude. Okay, so let's think. The latitude should be from west, because yeah, from west. So viewport dot southwest dot latitude until viewport northeast dot latitude. Not sure if that's correct, but let's see. And for the longitude, it's gonna be viewport dot north, no, also south, because we need to put the first one should be the lower value, and the next one should be greater than the previous one. So let's try like this. And north east, north longitude. All right, let's try and see if that works. Probably it doesn't. So let's write Tenerife. Search. Okay, we see only the apartments in Tenerife on the map. The map we didn't implement yet, but yeah, that's good. And if I write Palo Alto, we should see the property for the garage of Steve Jobs, and nothing from Tenerife. So I think that that means that our filters work correctly, and we return only the properties that match these filters. So here we see everything for. It's only two. Okay. We need to do the same thing with our map. Or better. You see how we are copy pasting the code from the list to the map? And we in list we do a fetch, and in map we do another fetch, and this is like the double the effort, because our list and map should basically display the same information. So I'm thinking to move the querying logic inside this search result tab navigator, and we will send to the search results already the data that it needs to display. So we'll do the query inside this parent component, which is a navigator, because here we have like all the information that we need, like the guest, the viewport, and so on. And then we'll just send the data that we receive down below to the screens. I think that will be smarter. And yeah, let's try to do that. So use effect, I'm gonna, and we will not have to where is it? Here. We will not have to do this 2 times in 2 different screens. So we will need the state. We will need to import use state and use effect. Okay, here we set the posts, and we just need to send them instead of sending guests and viewport. Yeah, we will send the posts directly. So posts equal to posts. This way, in this component, we do the querying logic, and there we just do the displaying logic, posts. And here in the index, I will take posts from here. Data posts. Save. Do you work? List. I guess it does. I will do the same for the map and then test it to see if it actually works. So search results map index. From the props we'll take posts, and we'll delete the post here, and we'll delete the this use effect that was doing the fetching. Save. And now let's refresh the application and check if it works. Sorry. So let's search, for example, for Tenerife, one guest, and here we see 2 properties. That's good. And on the map as well, we see 2 properties. Awesome. I think that's really great. And yeah, we can see both of them. And if I were to search Palo Alto, search, then we see the garage of Steve Jobs, and on the map we see it here. Yeah, I think that also works. And now the fetching is done inside one component and is done only once for both list view and map view. All right, so that was filtering based on location. So yeah, let's do git commit filter based on location. And yeah, for one, we can assign a listener to whenever the map updates. So whenever we scroll, we can go ahead and rerun this fetching based on this viewport. So we know like the viewport that we see on the screen. So we can run that query again with different values for the latitude and longitude, and we'll receive results of all accommodation in this area. So I think that's really cool, and if you will implement that, share with me in Discord. That would be really nice. So guys, that's it with our GraphQL API, and I think that's it with our the backend for our Airbnb clone. Do you have any questions? Let's get to that. How did you find this? By the way, I will after the stream, I'll publish all the code to GitHub, and I encourage you to follow along and implement and do everything yourself, because that's the best way to learn. But if you get into some problems and want to check the source code, you can find it on GitHub. All right. So guys, yeah, prepare your questions. I'm gonna go to the toilet real quick, and in 1 minute I'm gonna be back and we can chat for a bit. I'm gonna be back. Hello, hello. I am back. Marcos is asking, do you also build Flutter projects? No, I don't. Not yet. Maybe in future I will try. But at this moment, no. Come on, guys. Ask some questions. Let's talk a bit. And then we can finish this year with a nice live stream. We finish this project, and yeah, I'm planning a lot of content nowadays that I'm gonna do in 2021, and I'm really pumped, and I will try to keep up with uploading consistently a live stream build every week, as I've been doing for the last 3 months. And also I'm planning to upload some short format videos of like 10-15 minutes of tutorials or anything else. So if you're interested in any specific topic, let me know down below what you would like to see in the next year, and I'll take it into consideration, and we'll do some cool videos about it next year. Will you use TypeScript? I use TypeScript for a couple of projects, for a couple of builds. I think for Twitter, we use TypeScript, for Spotify, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's a great language extension of JavaScript, and I really love it. However, during live streams, I find that I spend a lot of time working with types and defining types and making sure that everything is typed. And I thought that I'm wasting too much time on that, and during live stream I need to be concise. So that's why I'm trying some project in JavaScript now. Why don't you try to start your own startup? That's a good question. I already did, and I'm working on it for around 2.5 years. Yeah, I'm working on a startup in the sports industry. It's called Fitinium. You can find it online. And this is my second one. The first one we worked for also around 2 years. We've been also at the conference, how is it called? The TechCrunch in Berlin with that startup. But yeah, we decided to close it down, to take the lessons and move on. Thanks for asking. Are you interested in startups? I'm also thinking about doing some more content about startups or documenting on this channel the process of creating, building a startup, because that's what I'm really passionate about. And that's everything, not just development, brand is about, because my philosophy is that we shouldn't be just developers. We should be more like problem solvers and use programming as a tool to get where we want to be, or to solve some problems, and to build real products, real businesses. And yeah, that's the direction I want to go with this brand and with this channel. Don't be just developers. If you want to have an impact, you should be a bit more than just developers. Kermali is saying Uber clone, please. Yes, we will do a Uber clone. A lot of people are asking about Uber clone. That might be the first build of 2021. Would you ever do Firebase? I know AWS is your favorite. Firebase, yeah, Firebase. I might do a project in Firebase. Let's see. I see a lot of people want to do that. I'm using Firebase at my startup for only for analytics, and it's going pretty great. Tech with TJ, that would be great. I agree with everything you said. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas for the channel, but more on that later. I just need to find time to implement all of them. So, yep. So guys, did you follow along this tutorial or the previous builds? Not the previous build, the previous episode of this build. Did you implement the Airbnb clone yourself? The problem with AWS, it requires a credit card information. Yep. AWS requires a credit card information, even though they are not charging you unless you, I don't know, like use some of the services like in a wrong way. Because while you're learning, most of the services should be under free tier, so they shouldn't be charged. Priyank is on part 2. Great. How's it going with the maps, with everything? That was something new that we integrated, maps and autocomplete from Google. Do you also do React projects as well? I haven't done any React.js projects on this channel because, as you saw, I'm just starting out. And in the beginning, I want to stay laser focused on one technology, on a smaller set of technologies. and I decided to go with React Native and AWS Amplify. React Native because we are using React Native at our startup. And even though I'm not a front-end developer, and at my startup the front-end is done by my team. We have like a team of 4 amazing developers, and I'm mostly doing backend and architecture and AWS stuff. But I thought that okay, like let's do some React Native because that's something visual and that's something exciting, and I really love this technology. And for the AWS Amplify, I played around with it and I really love and enjoy working with it, but I have never had a chance to work with Amplify in a production environment or like in a bigger project. So I decided like, okay, let's go with Amplify here. So yeah. React.js is something that we will definitely do. Here I can say that we will definitely do some React.js projects. But yeah, probably in the short term we'll still do some React Native projects, and then we can diversify and do some other projects. Maybe I will get somebody on board to help me with these projects. Because yeah, I'm quite limited on time. I have my startup. I'm finishing this next quarter. I'm finishing my university, and I'll have my graduation assignment. So yeah, a lot of things to do besides YouTube. But I hope that next year I'll definitely have more time to focus on YouTube. Tech with TJ said that he will end up watching it later, and I really hope that you will actually build along, because that's how you learn, and that's a great way to add a project to your portfolio. One of the subscribers followed the Spotify clone, and then he added the Spotify clone to his portfolio, and shortly he found a client that wanted a radio application which was similar to Spotify, and he built that radio application, and that was his first client, and he made around $1,000. And yeah, that story like shocked me, and I was like, yes, it's working, something great. So yeah, follow along, add them to your portfolio, and apply to jobs or to some projects if you want to get into freelancing and start making money. Uh, I'm wondering whether I should learn React before following your clone in React Native. Um, well, I don't think that to get into React Native, you don't need to know React beforehand. It definitely helps if you already know React to get into React Native, because most of the things are the same. Only like the rendering way is a bit different. And for example, in React, you have, I don't know, divs and other elements. Here you have views, for example. But everything that is from the core React, which is, I don't know, like components, functional components, hooks, state props, navigation, and all that stuff, they're the same. So it's easier. But if you don't know React, you can get started with React Native from the beginning, and that's what I did. I started with React Native, and then at my startup we needed a dashboard for the web to manage all the users, and then I built it in React.js, and it was also an easy switch when you know React Native to go to React.js, and vice versa. So you can start with whichever you want. Let me put the chat here so you can also see it, what I'm reading. What is the idea after you cover clone? Maybe Figma to React Native. Yeah, Robinhood app clone, some trading application that would be interesting to work with graphs in React Native. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Thank you very much. I'll add it to my list. Thank you so much for your advice. My pleasure. What experience do you have already? Yeah, I think this we finished this build a bit earlier than I thought because in the beginning I started the live streams. The live streams were like, I don't know, 1 hour, then it was like 1.5 hour, then 2 hours, 3 hours. Then it got to a point where we were doing like 4 hour live streams because I always wanted to get into more details to try to explain more in depth all the steps. Yeah, so that's why it takes like more and more time. And I know that nowadays people have attention span of a goldfish, so I'm trying to keep it more condensed. So we managed to do it in how much? We started, I think 2.5 hours. That's nice. I wanna work in USA. I have 2 years experience in React Native. Um, awesome. What can I say? Can I make it bigger? All right. Where are you from? By the way, Priyank. I'm coming from Angular and Ionic. Now learning React Native. Awesome, bro. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yep. But we're already talking for 15 minutes, so we can stay 15 more minutes, and then I will have to leave. So if you have any questions, now is the time, guys. Let's discuss them now, and let's end this live stream. So the good thing is that nowadays more and more companies move to work remotely. So you can even live in India and work for a US company, or you can live in India and do freelancing and find clients in the USA. And I think that's really great. But nowadays, you're less dependent on one location. So if you want to be successful, you don't have to necessarily be in USA or in, I don't know, San Francisco or something like that. You can work from anywhere in the world with the clients or with companies from other countries. So that's what I'm doing starting from the next starting from February. I'm moving to an island and I'm gonna be working from there. I'm moving closer to my startup partners, and yeah, at a place where it's always sunny, and I'll be able to work from there with at companies at any from any country. What's going to be the next build? Most probably, it's going to be Uber clone. A lot of people are asking for that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Uber clone, and it's gonna be next year. Probably I'm gonna take 1 week of holidays to do some planning of content and priorities for the next year. Maybe you should show us quick deployment. I'll prepare something for that in another part because I want to be prepared for that, and it might take a bit more than the time that we have today. So yeah, I'll definitely do deployment. I know that that a lot of people are asking for that, and with that we can say that we cover the full spectrum of developing a mobile application, starting from front end, back end, and deploying it. So I'm very interested in doing that. What is your thought on Flutter? In my area, Flutter is catching up with React Native. I didn't try working with Flutter. I didn't try it myself. I only saw some code in Flutter, and my honest opinion is that Flutter is ugly. When I look at the Flutter code, it's like, ooh, I can't look at it. I don't know. But yeah, I saw that it's growing pretty well, and I'm not saying that I will not try it. Maybe I will love it more than React Native. Who knows? But that was my first impression when seeing Flutter code. What island? What island? The island that I was using today. Where is it? Tenerife. Here. It's somewhere here. Yeah, definitely. Uber clone is coming. Don't worry. Yeah. Those nested like childs, and like it's like everything is the same thing, and it's so much nesting, and maybe I saw poorly written code, and if you actually start doing that in a good way, or how you're supposed to do, or like to follow some best practices, maybe the code will look better, but it's still like it still looks ugly. I don't know. That's my opinion. Can you briefly explain how to install and set up an already ready to go Flutter application? Yeah, that's what I was saying right now. I didn't work with Flutter, so probably I cannot do it right now. Maybe if I will get into Flutter and if I will enjoy Flutter, maybe I'll do that. Which are the steps? I think that yeah, we should have like good documentation on how to get started. So you just go and search Flutter get started. So let's learn Flutter. Okay, guys, in today's live stream, we'll create Airbnb clone in Flutter. Let's go. So yeah, joking. Yeah, here I think all the steps that you need to take to download, install. Blech. So much steps. Hate it. I hate all the installation and setting up things. I always wanted like to have somebody to install and set up everything on my laptop, and so I can just work. Whenever I get a new laptop, like I hate installing everything. I need like 2 days to set up everything, and after I do, like I never touch it. So yeah, as Brink says, they got pretty good dogs, so you should check it out. Hello Vadim, I'm from React background. How hard it will be for me to get into React Native? The code seems familiar. Yeah, it's gonna be very easy to get into React Native, really. Like the only difference that I can think right now are the built-in components that you render. So you don't have like, for example, a div, but you have a view. You don't have like a h1, but you have text, and so on. And also the styles probably are different, because in React Native we don't have CSS, we have styles in JavaScript. But once you understand how they are written, they're very similar to CSS. So if you look at a style sheet here, let's get a component, detailed post style. So if you look here, you can see that it looks very similar to CSS. The only thing is that in CSS we have, for example, aspect ratio with a dash. Here we follow camel case for everything, and most of the things without even researching you can do based on how is it done in CSS, and most of the time it works. So, and also, yeah, some libraries, some native libraries that you will need, but yeah, we have good documentation, and I think if you have a React background, like getting into React Native is pretty easy. Does React Native have Redux? Yes, they have like Redux, and everything works with at the base of React Native we have React. So yeah, most of the libraries that we are using in React, we can use it in React Native, and that goes with Redux. It didn't work with Funk, but most probably use context, yes, because use context is a React thing. So React Native uses React. Do you have CSS in JS or style component in native too? Yeah, it's CSS in JavaScript, in JS. All right, guys. I think we can call it a day. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you everyone who is following along. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I'm really grateful for everything that has happened during this year. Yeah, we gathered a small but very united community around around this. Thanks everyone who joined the Discord channel, who is helping others to get started when they are stuck. Yeah, I'm really grateful for everything, and I think that 2021 will be even better, with more projects, with more content, and yeah. Okay, guys. I wish you a Merry Christmas. What else? What else? Yeah. Merry Christmas, and see you in the next year. And as always, guys, during the holidays, don't forget to stay hydrated, to take care,